Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever felt like you're up against a giant? I'm not talking about a literal giant, but one of those massive, intimidating challenges in life. It could be a daunting project at work, a personal fear that holds you back, or an obstacle that just seems impossible to overcome. We all face our own Goliaths. It's that voice of doubt whispering, "You're not strong enough. You're not smart enough. You're going to fail." It's that feeling of being small and powerless in the face of something huge. Well, today, we're going to dive into one of the most timeless stories ever. Told a story about a young shepherd boy who faced a very real, very terrifying giant. This isn't just an ancient tale. It's a powerful blueprint for how we can conquer the giants in our own lives. We're talking about David versus Goliath, and the incredible lessons it holds about turning fear into faith and stepping into our own power. So, let's set the scene. The army of Israel is paralyzed. For 40 days, they've been camped on one side of a valley, while the formidable Philistine army is on the other. And every single morning and evening, a champion emerges from the Philistine ranks. His name is Goliath. This guy is the definition of intimidating. He's over 9 feet tall, decked out in heavy bronze armor, and carries a spear so massive, its tip alone weighs 15 pounds. He bellows across the valley, mocking the Israelites and their God, challenging them to send out one man to fight him. The prize, the loser's entire nation becomes slaves to the winner. Talk about high stakes. And what's the reaction from the Israelite army? Pure, unadulterated terror. The Bible says they were dismayed and greatly afraid. These were trained soldiers, warriors, yet they were completely frozen by fear. They saw the giant, heard his threats, and immediately concluded it was a hopeless situation. Now, enter David. He's the youngest of 8 sons, a shepherd boy. He's not a soldier. His main job is watching sheep. His father sends him to the battlefront simply to bring supplies to his older brothers and check on how they're doing. When David arrives, he hears Goliath's taunts and sees the fear gripping the entire army. But David's reaction is completely different. He doesn't see an unbeatable giant. He sees an uncircumcised Philistine defying the armies of the living God. His perspective is not one of fear, but of faith. He asks, who is this man that he should defy the armies of the living God? Think about that for a second. While everyone else was focused on the size of the giant, David was focused on the size of his God. This is our first major lesson. Your focus determines your reality. Are you focusing on the size of your problem, or the size of your power and potential to solve it? The soldiers saw their limitations. David saw an opportunity for God to show his strength. Of course, David's confidence isn't met with applause. It's met with scorn. His own brother, Eliab, gets angry and accuses him of being arrogant and just wanting to see the battle. Then, when David volunteers to fight Goliath, King Saul basically laughs at him. He says, "You are not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for you are but a youth, and he has been a man of war from his youth." This is the voice of conventional wisdom, the voice of the doubters. It's the voice that tells you you're too young, too inexperienced, too unqualified. It's the voice that tries to put you in a box based on your past or your appearance. But David doesn't back down. He counters Saul's doubt with his resume of faith. He says, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went after it and struck it and delivered the lamb from its mouth." This is our second lesson. Your past battles prepare you for your present ones. David wasn't just a shepherd. He was a protector. He had faced life-threatening danger before. Not on a battlefield, but in the quiet solitude of the fields. Those private victories, where no one was watching, built his courage and his faith. He knew that the same God who delivered him from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear would deliver him from the hand of this Philistine. What are the lions and bears you've already defeated in your life? Maybe you overcame a difficult class, navigated a tough personal situation, or learned a new skill when it felt impossible. Don't discount those experiences. They are your training ground. They are proof that you are more capable and resilient than you think. Your history of survival and success is the foundation for your future triumphs. So, Saul reluctantly agrees and tries to equip David with his own armara bronze helmet and a coat of mail. It's the standard issue gear for a warrior. But David tries it on and says, "I cannot go with these, for I have not tested them." He takes them off. This is a crucial moment. David refuses to fight someone else's battle with someone else's tools. Saul's armor represented the world's way of doing things, relying on conventional strength and protection. But it wasn't authentic to David. It weighed him down. Lesson 3. Be authentic to your own strengths. Don't try to be someone you're not. The world will try to hand you its armor, its strategies, its definition of success. But what works for someone else might not work for you. You have to find your own slingshot, that unique gift, that unconventional approach, that thing you've practiced and perfected in your own life. David's strength wasn't in heavy armor. It was in his speed, his agility, and his deadly accuracy with a sling. He chose to rely on what he knew, not on what was expected. So, what does David take with him? A staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones from a stream. That's it. He walks out to face the giant, who is utterly insulted. Goliath looks at this young boy with a shepherd's staff and says, "Am I a dog, that you come to me with sticks?" He curses David by his gods and promises to feed his flesh to the birds and the beasts. The intimidation factor is at an all-time high. But David's response is one of the greatest declarations of faith in history. He says, "You come to me with a sword, with a spear, and with a javelin. But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel." This is the ultimate lesson. Declare your victory before the battle begins. David wasn't hoping to win. He was declaring that the victory was already secured. His confidence wasn't in himself, but in the power behind him. He framed the entire battle not as David versus Goliath, but as God versus Goliath. He was just the instrument. This shift in mindset changes everything. When you face your giant, don't talk about how big your fear is. Talk about how big your faith is. Speak your desired outcome into existence. It's not about being arrogant. It's about aligning yourself with a purpose greater than your fear. David's words weren't just for Goliath. They were for himself. They solidified his own belief and drowned out the noise of doubt. And then, the action. As Goliath moves in for the kill, David doesn't hesitate. He runs not away, but toward the giant. He reaches into his bag, takes out a stone, slings it, and strikes the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sinks in, and the giant falls face down on the ground. Weak one, well-aimed shot. Using the skills he honed in the lonely fields, David brings down the unbeatable foe. The battle that an entire army was too afraid to fight for 40 days was over in a matter of minutes. When the Philistines see their champion fall, they turn and run, and the Israelite army, suddenly filled with courage, chases after them, winning a decisive victory. So, what can we take away from all this for our lives today? First, change your perspective. Stop staring at the size of your giant and start focusing on the source of your strength. Second, remember your past victories. You've overcome challenges before, and those experiences have prepared you for what you're facing right now. Third, be authentic. Don't use someone else's armor. Use the unique gifts and strengths that you have honed. And finally, declare your victory. Speak faith over your fear. Your words have power, so use them to build your confidence and define your reality. The story of David and Goliath reminds us that our greatest battles are won or lost in our minds before they are ever fought in the real world. It teaches us that with faith, courage, and authenticity, no giant is too big to fall. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this story inspires you to face whatever giant is standing in your way. Remember, you are stronger and more capable than you know. If you found this message encouraging, please give it a thumbs up. And do not forget to subscribe for more content to help you live a more empowered and fearless life. Let me know in the comments what giant you're facing and how you plan to conquer it. I'll see you in the next video.